Hello, 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 hello. Today we're going to just be breaking down a little slower how to just do a basic contour, highlight, eyeshadow. Um, and even with breaking it down, we're gonna try and make this quick because it should be quick. Like I do makeup just to feel good and refreshed, and it's like I'm setting the intention that I'm gonna show up today. Um, Not necessarily setting the intention that I'm gonna like achieve or accomplish a lot. I don't want to put that much pressure on myself, but it just gives me that little bit extra to just be like, today is my day. Today is so. I'm first gonna start off with my Seint contour. This is how they come in little tins. They're magnetic, and they just pop into your compact. So I just got this one in the mail. This color is olive. This is going to be you can go like neutral, cool, neutral, warm, but you want it to mimic a shadow, not necessarily a tan. Again, it's all preference. Sometimes I don't mind it being a little warmer and kind of mimicking a tan because I'll pull it up. And if you look at the difference, it's just a little more defined. And I'm just literally going in, touching a little bit. You don't need a lot. And what I'm doing is just very lightly touching my skin to lay that color down. And then I'll kind of go in and I'm blending back and forth, but also a little more up. I don't want to do it down. It's going to drag your face down. Contour where you put it, it's all going to be personal preference. And the only way you're going to know is just by experimenting. So some people like to take it up a little higher. That on me doesn't look right. So I do need to just like tuck it right under my cheekbone. The purpose of contour is a couple things. Number one, your face naturally has that shadow there, especially if you have cheekbones. So you are just honoring the natural dimension of your face. Number two, let's say you don't have really much of any cheekbones. You can kind of carve out some cheekbones, just like in art. We use shading and light to create 3D, 4D pictures. You're going to create a 3D picture on your face with the shading. And that for me is like what I enjoy about makeup, is that like art aspect. And then you can do your jawline, and this is just going to make it a little more precise, or if you have more fluff there, it will really, really help make that recede and disappear, of the illusion that it'll disappear. And you can bring it down your neck if you want, just to warm up your neck, or you can, some people put their foundation color. If you're new, contour first, because that's usually the scary part, and what I find most people don't put enough on, and then it's like they can barely see it. Put it on first. Don't worry about going in with a heavy hand, because you can always go back in with your highlight and fix it. So highlight in the world of Seint makeup is basically your foundation, and you're going to put it where most people just put concealer. So I'm going to use this brush. I'm actually going to use the fluffier end today. So the big difference between this end and this end, it's shorter and more compact. This is fluffier and not as compact. So your color on this side is going to be more concentrated, and it's basically like a more medium to full coverage application, whereas this just is a lighter dusting. When I have, my skin is in a really good place, I don't need a lot of product. So I'm just going to start here in the center and then go out. There really isn't much of imperfections on the side here, so I don't need to really makeup. I'm just kind of trying to more even out the skin tone there, or you know, from this stuff to here, it's not like a big difference in color. And I'm going to dip back in. And I'm just kind of coating the whole brush. And then now, I did not contour my nose. I'm not a big nose contour. Sometimes if I have leftover product on, I'll just give it a quick rub there, but I'll put some on and show you. I have a bump in my nose, and if you don't really take your time, you can just accentuate that. So I also like using this fluffy end of the brush because it's not as harsh on my skin than when I go with this and I'm like really pushing it in. I'll still sometimes go in with this side just to push into my skin, but like especially under my eyes, I don't want to be beating my face up to put in color. So I did one little tap for here, one little tap for here, one little tap for here. I'm just barely using anything. And then I'll get a little bit on my eyelids. Then you can go in and just be like, okay, I need a little bit more here. What I'll do is I'll kind of pinch the brush a little bit to help give it that more concentrated application. And that's it. So contouring of the nose, I'm going to save till the end. Next, what I like to do is highlight. What I will do, a lot of times, I'll just go in with this side of this brush. But since I went within a really like more lighter end by using the fluffy end of this brush, I'm going to use this brush now because as you can see, it's just fluffier. I'm not necessarily looking to lighten. I want to brighten. Okay, someone needed me real quick. But my goal generally is not to go lighter under my eyes. So I use this color down here. These are some of the lighter colors in mascara. I like to go bright. So this is lighter than this color, but I'm not gonna go 20 shades lighter. I just really wanna go brighter. So this color here that I used is Wheat. For my foundation color. It is a little bit brighter version of this. It works well for my skin. This color here is Sunlit. It has a very yellow base to it. And it's one of my favorites for brightening. I will occasionally go in and maybe mix it a little bit with a lighter color, but it depends on the tan. If I'm not super tan, then I'll mix it in with a little bit brighter color. Because lighter color. Just because the color is light doesn't necessarily mean it's that brightening, the sun's hit me look. So with your highlight, like what a lot of people use as concealer color, the goal is to just kind of mimic the sun, because the sun's gonna like hit you right here in the T-zone and draw your attention in. And that's the goal with it. The other thing for me is I have deep set eyes, so I'm just trying to bring forward that under eye area. It just helps you look more awake and your eyes look bigger. Now, especially the older you get, you don't want to put a lot of product on because then it's going to crease. It's the other reason why I like using this fluffy brush. And the difference is very subtle, which for me is what I'm going for. If I had gone in with a much lighter color, you would see a much more drastic look. And I kind of come down in here a little bit, so it's not like just this super light stripe here. It just blends a little better. My main two areas are in here and in here. At the very edge is where I have my most hollowness. And I find if I just really get those two areas and then just take whatever left on my brush in between, then it looks good. Okay. So much of it's going to come down to preference and what are your goals. So I'm going to do this side. This side is just a little bit more sunken in and the shape's a little bit more different. I'm just going to go in there, center of my eye right under it, for the inner corner. at the center of my eye. And brighten that up. And I'm literally just like barely tapping. I would much rather take a couple like little light taps and go push it all in there. What I generally do, I'm trying to coat the whole brush. So just one little dip lasts more. And I'd much rather go in with less and build up than go in with too much. So I'm just going to try and hit this. There's like a fold here in my skin. Hit that there. Then you can go in and brighten anywhere else you want. So the sun naturally hits us here. And like I said, you may want to go way harder than I do. Sun hits you here. And on the nose. This is where I like to kind of contour the nose at the end because I don't want to have to be super precise. So I'm just using this other end to go down my nose. It's almost like reverse contouring. And I'm going to take this in and just pat everything in. Number one, I don't want too much extra product, so I'll help remove that, and then also push it into the skin. All right, there's that. If you want to contour your nose, I'm going to see if I have any left over on the brush, and I just very lightly, and I'm at the very top of my nose. I don't know if there's a way to show this. I'm not going down much of the side at all. So I'll dip a little bit in. Just a smidge. And I'm actually hardly making contact with my nose at all. That's really it. You don't want to go down further. It'll make your nose seem wider. So I really like take my brush up to the top of my nose. And the closer you get these two lines together, the thinner your nose will seem. And some people will go in with their brightening and brighten here. Again, total preference. We'll get into here and just give that some light. It's all about that, like I said, that 3D art look, giving the illusion of whatever look you're going for. So then you just have to choose what color blush you're looking for. I myself am just going to go with the color Summer Love, I believe. You can see like I've used the heck out of this. It's one of my favorites. And I just use the other end of this brush. And I just pop it on the apples of my cheek. Again, blush, all preference about placement. Sometimes some people like it placed more back here. Sometimes people like it more on the apple of their cheeks. I don't necessarily like to do the whole smile because then when you're not smiling, your cheeks drop. And I definitely go through phases about where I like my placement. My face is a little fluffier after having a baby, so I'm okay with it being more forward, but when my face is thinner, sometimes it looks really funny, and I like to go more back here. And don't worry about going in a little heavy-handed at first, because blush wears, it's like always, no matter what makeup brand you use, powder or cream, it just wears fast. And that's it. So super easy. Now, on any given day, I'm homeschooling and working from home. And or even when I have to go somewhere run errands, I like to make the look quick. So what I will do for eyeshadow is just use one. Here's the caveat, especially if you have deep set eyes. You need to find the perfect shade, which can seem daunting, but it's not. Just experiment. For me, a really neutral brown works. So I use this brown here by Seint called Basic, and it's a great neutral. Now, if you look here, this color here, Bubba, it's definitely more warm. It does not work all over my eye. It just doesn't match my skin tone. As long as, it just also depends on what your goal is. I like to highlight the color of my eyes. This color Basic, it does that. It's a light to medium brown, so it's not too dark. It's gonna highlight my deep set eyes. It really just plays off of my skin color well and plays off of the color of my eyes well. It may not be a brown for you. It may be a purple for you. It may be a pink. It's totally up to you. But the benefit of going in with one color is you don't have to be precise. So I just go on the lid and work my way up. And I go up pretty high because generally I'm using this color to create a faux crease above my actual crease. Here's the thing in makeup, there's no rules, I say. It all depends on what your goal is. Like if you have deep set eyes, yeah, you don't generally want to put color on your lid, like a dark color on your lid, because if it's dark, it recesses. But my goal more so is just to highlight the color of my eye and to be quick. And if those are my goals, then this is the way I'm going to achieve it. I'll maybe ignore that it might make my eye look a little smaller, because my goal really isn't for this particular technique to make them look bigger. It's to bring out the color. You can somewhat combat, that's why I pull it up a little bit higher, combat it making your eyes look so deep set by bringing it up high and creating like a faux crease. You can go under. You don't have to go under your eyes. I have to be really careful about that. I don't know. No one really has ever talked about it, but like, because my eyes are so deep set, it just, where this skin under here like faces changes. And so it almost mutes the colors. You almost can't see the color because it's not facing straight out. It's kind of like facing like that. So I don't know. Okay, and that's really it. You can put on some eyeliner. I usually like to put just a little bit on the outside here just to extend my eye and make it look bigger. But other than that, I'm just gonna add some mascara and I'm done. All right, that's the look. This is like my favorite. It's just like beautiful skin. That's the look. You can also, I'm not a huge lipstick person because I hate the smell of it. I used to be. I just can't get into it. You can take your lip and cheek color you used and just put it on your lips. The color I use, Summer Love, has some sheen to it, so it's perfect. You could also contour your lips. It just helps them stand out. See almost how they disappear? Because that color, you can take your contour color, just dip like a small little brush real lightly into there, and just make sure you can see those babies. So you're gonna go I go naturally where I have color at. I'm not making my lip bigger. And it just helps provide that differentiation between where you just put your highlight. You can also take a little bit, what most companies call highlighter, we call illuminator. Put it on the top of your lips, put it on the top of your cheeks. I have pretty dewy skin to begin with, so I don't really need to use it much, but just so you see what it looks like. I'm flicking you off, sorry. Okay, and that's it. So simple, so pretty. It's just like having a beautiful skin day And you could go even lighter. I'm fair skinned, so that brown shows up medium on me, but you can go even lighter with the all over eye color. And I'm ready to rock this day. There's nothing like feeling good. When I'm not jibber jabbering and doing a tutorial, it literally is 5 minutes and done. So thanks for hanging out with me. I hope this was helpful for you, and I'll catch you in the next video.